bit more. Okay. Okay. Destiny, I know that there was a question or there was a request earlier that we had talked about, aside from the one that you'll be putting up as a question. Okay, so if you could just actually type that in for me from the first conversation that we had. Welcome, everybody. It looks like we got a few people tuning in here through TikTok. Welcome, everyone on TikTok. Hope you're doing well. Welcome, everybody here on YouTube. We're going to give this a minute for a few people to log on. I apologize for running late, and looks like we are good on audio and visual. If you guys could just give me a thumbs up, let me know before I go ahead and get started. Just want to confirm you can hear me and see me all right. If you are having any trouble on the YouTube platform, go ahead and switch over to TikTok at Ask Ivy, and vice versa. If you're on TikTok, you're having trouble, you want to have a better connection, go to YouTube at Ask Ivy. We'll see which one is working the best. All right, so well, everybody tunes in here. Thank you very much. All right, I got some thumbs up. Very good. Couple quick announcements. We do have coming up the Psychic Mediumship course starting April 25th. I am running a raffle for that right now, a $2,100 value. So if you want to try to win a free psychic mediumship course, you can go onto my website and get raffle tickets for that. The drawing is going to be on April 24th. April 24th is Taste of Psychic Mediumship, a 100% free 3-hour class that you could take online through Zoom or in person here at our new headquarters, the old 1800s Victorian funeral home. It's limited seating either way. So whether you do Zoom or you come in person, it is getting very tight on the head count. So go ahead and get yourselves registered for that. Also on the website. The website link is in the description box. This way, I don't know. And again, that's where we are drawing on the raffle. So the very next day, Psychic Mediumship course begins. I also wanted to announce May 28th is our first really big psychic fair that we're doing here at the new location. We have, I believe, 10 readers and healers, and they are able to offer readings and healings virtually. So wherever you are, from the comfort of your own home around the world, or in person. So go ahead and pre-book your reading or healing. May 28th, that fair is running, I want to say from maybe 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure. The details are up on the site. And afterward, I start the supernatural tours. So many of you guys have been asking about when I'm going to open up the doors here at this, the Victorian funeral home for like historical tours or self-guided tours or paranormal investigations. And I've decided to do it on that day. So after the psychic fair is over, you guys can go ahead and get registered for your supernatural tour. I am also doing tours throughout the day. They're self-guided. It's not a full historical tour yet. I have more research to do on this place. I'm hitting some roadblocks. But you can do a self-guided tour anytime throughout that day. Okay, so check it out. Some fun stuff coming up. All right, looks like we have a few people tuned in, and I'm already late, so I'm going to cut myself off here. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Arawak, and I own a school called Ivy League Psychic Academy, where I train people internationally online, and we are slowly getting back to in-person with COVID. So I train you in everything from psychic mediumship development to tarot, astrology, Reiki, numerology, paranormal work, empathic work. We train children as well as adults. I obviously don't do all that on my own. I have a whole team of teachers and educators here who help out. So we hope to see you for a full list of classes. Go to ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. What you've caught here tonight is one of my free mini classes that I've been doing on YouTube since the pandemic hit. It's called the Quarantine Series. And you can listen to these on the go anywhere that you download a podcast, or you can go onto YouTube at Ask Ivy. Up in the playlist, it'll say mini classes. Listen to all the old ones. COVID's been going on for so long at this point. I think I have I don't know, possibly like 70 classes or so. I'm not sure. I'll have to do the math, but there's a ton. Now, this week is actually a refilming and a part 2 that I did on a class 2 weeks ago called Why Strong Women Attract Narcs and Weak Men. So I had some technical issues with that one, but you guys really responded very well to it and had asked for more information. And so I thought, okay, I'll refilm it and we'll add in some additional information and help that you guys were seeking. And I encourage you guys to post your questions, your comments, anything else you want me to include in the curriculum today on this topic. I also want to encourage you to hit that thumbs up on these videos, please. Feel free to subscribe. And if you are on YouTube and you want to become a member, okay, I am going to have to fix my phone. Hold on 1 minute. Let me plug in my charger. Okay, well, let's see if that fixed it or not. I really am not sure. Again, if you guys are tuning in through TikTok and you're having any trouble hearing or seeing me, switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy. I don't know how long TikTok's going to be holding up. Okay, it's doing some weird stuff tonight. That's not on me. So I do encourage you guys to give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And if you're on YouTube and you want to become a member for behind the scenes, like extra curriculum, direct spirit messages, your monthly horoscope, all kinds of other things, you can hit that join button. So why strong women attract narcs and weak men? Why does this happen? We are going to break this down by some spiritual reasons, and then we are going to look at some of the psychological reasons behind it, what research shows in some basic studies here. Okay, so the first thing I think to appreciate about this problem is that strong women tend to be very strong empaths as well. And for those of you who follow me, and from my empathic awareness class up on the website that I'm always making reference to, that empaths are the number one group of people to attract sociopaths and narcissists. So that's a given. If you have a high level of empathic ability, whether you're a woman, you're a man, you're going to attract problematic individuals like narcissists and others who are weak, who are in desperate need of healing of any kind. That's a given. And we need to protect ourselves from that. I do think, though, that what happens is that a strong, independent, empathic woman who kind of has it all going for her really does seem to attract a very specific kind of narcissistic male to her. And that person is often focused on the challenge, the chase, sort of like the rush of adrenaline that can come with almost like hunting, catching a wild animal like that, seeing it in its natural habitat and then just wanting to take it out, wanting to take it down, wanting to kill it off and sort of devour it. It's disgusting. It's unacceptable, of course, but it is, I think, to many of these men, challenge and a game. And so we know when we talk about sociopaths, we talk about narcissists, we're talking about people that lack the emotion or the willingness to try to understand what someone else is going through. They literally do not care. And so that is perfectly acceptable behavior to them. And the empathic woman who is not aware that she basically has a sign up above her head that says, I'm open for business, I'm attracting narcs, I love sociopaths. If she's not aware of that, she's really susceptible to falling into the pattern over and over and over again. And we have to also look at this from another a spiritual, energetic aspect that I think is important. And that is that there is a war between light and dark energy in the universe. This is not new. I'm not the first person to talk about this. I certainly won't be the last, but I don't think it's discussed enough. We have, especially in the last decade, chosen to bury our heads in the sand and to live in a world where we often say, no, 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 there's no dark energy in the world. Everything you attract to you is just a reflection of what you need to learn, or, the energy that you put out, it's karmically what you're getting back. No. Especially in a situation where we're talking about empathic ability, what we attract back is toxicity. What we attract back is darkness. What we attract back is whatever needs healing or wants to corrupt the light sometimes. So it is not the case that there is no dark energy, or that if you attract it, you deserve it in some way. We need to be really careful. We've also decided to live in a sort of toxic positivity, I want to say the last 5 years, where we choose not to reflect on negative dark energy in the universe, thinking that if we just focus on positivity all the time, it'll sort of go away. And it doesn't go away. We have to get educated on what it is and how it's trying to infiltrate our lives. Now, without that education, you clearly cannot protect yourself. So, one of the important things to understand, and I talk about this a little bit more here on YouTube, up in the playlist, there's a class called Fighting the Dark. I'm going to do in 2 weeks, Fighting the Dark Part 2. And what I talk about in the Fighting the Dark class, you guys go in the comment section if this has helped you, okay? If you've already watched this one, please encourage your brothers and sisters to go watch this. So in Fighting the Dark, I talk about the 5 different ways that you come under attack every time you are about to level up in your life, and how most often those attacks, those blocks, those obstacles come from your inner circle. It comes through deceptive means. And we have to be careful that when we are a power player in the world, especially women, we have to be mindful that in times of success, we are also in a state of attack. And I find that these narcissistic or weak men use those level up opportunities with women as a great time for them to take that woman down, to steal that opportunity from her, to exhaust her, to rob her of that prosperity, that energy, and that level up, that level of power that is going to allow her then to go out and really feed the light, change the world in an even more dynamic way. So let's not forget that there is a war between light and dark, good and evil. The same way we would say, if we were looking at astrology, we would say, well, every sign has a high vibration and every sign has a low vibration. And you can look at an astrological sign, like you could take Leo's, for example, and you could look at a high vibrating Leo and be like, oh my God, I love Leos. They're amazing. They're super fun. They're always engaging. They always look great. And then you could look at a low vibrating Leo and be like, I hate Leos. I don't know why I ever date these. I can't even talk to them. They're all about themselves. They're so consumed with who they are. And, they're heartless toward everyone else. Okay, well, at any point, we have to choose the high vibration over the low vibration. And when we're talking about strong, powerful women, we are often looking at them vibrating high. And so what they attract are low vibrating men who want to snuff out that light, or at least drain it, which we're going to get into next. Okay, so those are a couple of the spiritual reasons, the energetic reasons, the universal reasons I believe that this goes on. And I think it's important also to look at 2019. I keep saying, for those of you who follow me, that in 2019, we went through a peak. The revolution began. The awakening started. It was sort of rolling in 2016, but it came to a full head at 2019. This is going to go consistently on through 2024. And so it's important, ladies, to protect yourselves during that time, more so than you ever would. You're vibrating high. Here comes a low vibrating dude to take you right down. Okay. We're going to be seeing more of this. All right. So let's take a look at some of the psychological and developmental reasons that research shows this occurs. Number one, weak and narcissistic men want a mommy. They have mommy issues. They feel that a woman is supposed to take care of them, that that's how a woman can prove that she would be a good mother because he intends to be one of her children. So they are looking for a parent, not a partnership. They expect her to help guide him mentally, emotionally, financially, the cooking, the cleaning, the everything. Okay. He basically wants his mom back. He wants to go back to his mom's basement. So when they have mom issues, they have also typically Peter Pan syndrome. Peter Pan syndrome is, to me, when I look at that issue, that immature unwillingness to grow, to man up, to evolve, I feel like I'm really talking about escapism and avoidance issues. So we're also talking about maybe compulsive video game playing, porn addiction, obesity or food, destructive eating habits. We could be talking about drug and alcohol abuse issues. You name it, it's there somewhere. I assure you, dig a little deeper. Even if they're hiding it, it could be an old pattern that they've learned to sort of do in a hidden way, or it could be something that they got over and later on, when there's some kind of trauma or they're not getting what they want or what they need out of you, they bring that old habit back. So you could be like, video games. When did you start playing video games? I didn't even know you had, like, I don't know, an Xbox and like 50,000. I didn't even know you owned these things. And then all of a sudden, it's 24/7. They're obsessed with these video games. So old patterns can resurrect. But one of the things you can also count on with Peter Pan syndrome, avoidant and escapist weak men, is that they have these patterns in some other way. So even if one habit seems to have disappeared or you weren't aware that it was there, it probably morphed into another habit. So it's not at all uncommon to see that someone who maybe had obesity issues because they were, just overeating all the time as their addiction, let's say, that they would have maybe switched out of that and then gone into drug and alcohol abuse issues. And then they would switch out of that and go into porn addiction. And then, maybe then it's the video game. It's all really on a different theme, but it is in the same vein for sure. So be watching for those issues. Now, what does that really mean? Well, it means that he doesn't want to learn who he is. It means that he doesn't want to do the self-work. It means that he is looking to anything, especially you, but trying to avoid and escape what's going on within himself. So not only does this person not know how to self-regulate, how to process what he's thinking, what he's feeling, he also has no clue who he really is. And when someone doesn't know who they are, they have no moral standing. They have no character development. And that's going to really come back to bite you, even if you see a lot of potential in this person. And they do present as having a lot of potential, that's for sure. So we're talking about, here are some red flags you may notice with that straight out of the gate. People, examine who you're talking to. I don't care if it's on Tinder. I don't care if it's a first date. I don't care if you're a few months into the relationship. Watch and study for these red flags. We are going to start here on number one, okay, when a guy wants his mom, with these red flags. Lack of job or career growth. Poor financial stability. And a pattern in his past of settling on lovers he was unhappy with. You were so unhappy with her. Why were you with her for 3 years, deceiving her and making her feel like you had a relationship? That's a huge red flag. Okay. For those of you boys turning in, I'm sure there aren't tuning in. I'm sure there aren't too many, but if there are any guys here, know that this also applies to you, especially if you're a light worker, you're a high vibrating empath, anything like that. So you could also be attracting sociopaths and narcs. These are the same patterns, men or women. Okay. However, this is a more common problem with us girls, of course. All right, let's look at number 2. I'm really thinking that this is more about the ego. Let's say ego stroking. Okay. Why would a weak or a narcissistic man be so drawn to a powerful woman who is really out of his league? Why would this happen? What is he even thinking in a time like that? Well, he's thinking he wants to have his ego stroked. It feels good. It's almost like star basking, when someone wants to say that they're connected to a superstar or musician. They're like, oh, I know this person. It's like calling out names and association status. Well, what they're basically doing is trying to take what you have. And so research shows that a lot of these men latch on to powerful women because they want what that woman has. They don't necessarily want to help her build that life. They don't necessarily want to support her in that incredible accomplishment that she's made. They just want to claim it as their own without ever earning it or doing anything to support it. So it's like the saying, every successful man has a strong woman backing him. Yeah, there's a reason that's a saying. Okay. That's probably like accurate 99.9% of the time, that a woman did help him build that. He's taking all the credit for it. Well, guys will come in and they'll also just try to sort of slide right into your life and be like, oh, you have a successful business. You have this big name for yourself. Yeah, me too. And they want to bask in your light from that. So we have to understand that a lot of them tend to come in thinking that somehow they're going to match you on that level. I tend to see this as more of a problem. Like a lot of narcs definitely are drawn to this, but I tend to see this more with weak men who could never get up to the status where you are, but they somehow are disillusioned. They think that they could if they get with you and if you believe in them and you see the potential in them and they work at it really hard, but they're never going to get up there. It doesn't work that way. The universe doesn't work that way. And so there ends up eventually being a lot of resentment toward you, and they may even try to wipe out what you've built. So we want to watch out. Ladies, we do not date potential. Watch out for potential guy, okay? Major red flag. Here are the red flags. This is someone who appears to be able to stand next to you and represent with you as though you're a power couple, but he doesn't actually have the goods to back it up, okay? Then we see that some of the other red flags here are that he flatters you. So when they want to stroke their own ego by being with you, being associated with you in front of the world, one of the things they're going to mistakenly do straight out of the gate is to flatter you. So it's a reflection of how they're feeling and what they want for themselves. You have to study why people say and do the things that they do, especially early on in the relationship, when they think they're getting away with everything. So why is he flattering you so much? All these compliments. Oh, he's amazed by you. I mean, he's absolutely starstruck. This is you must be my soulmate. I've never seen anything so beautiful. I've never witnessed anyone so incredible and amazing. And wow, look at you go. And I really want to back you in that. He can't back you in anything, nor do you need him to back you in anything. All right, let's move on to number 3. They enjoy being weak, research shows, and they also ask for no control. Now, that's not normal in any relationship. It's not normal to have one totally weak link and someone else who is in control all the time. It's not normal, whether you're dealing with friends, you're dealing with family, you're dealing with coworkers, or a lover, to have the other person without an opinion, to understand nothing about who they are, what their goals and ambitions and preferences are. They are like completely blank. And it is a huge red flag that you're being manipulated. No one is that passive. So watch out for passive guy for sure. So what is this? Research shows, okay, they enjoy being weak and they want to take no control. All right. Well, couple red flags that you can look for with this. First of all, they don't have any kind of boundaries. That's also really unhealthy and very unusual, especially for a grown man. Why do you have no sense of boundaries? They are able to accuse you later of being overbearing or too demanding, almost like they become victims. Well, it was too much. She wanted too much out of me. She was overbearing. And it's like they never expressed any level of discomfort. They have no boundaries. You think that everything is going along normal, and all of a sudden they're a victim. They're a victim. These would also be the same people that blame others, their exes, their family, their bosses, their life circumstances, right? They're always the victim. So they will also, big red flag, they will pride themselves on being the helper. They will throw it in your face later on. Oh, but I help you so much. Everything I do for you, with everything I give, I'm so supportive of you. Anyone who is offering you that much help and going above and beyond the call of duty is doing it for some payout. There isn't a human on the earth who is 100% of service all the time. There has to be reciprocity and balance. So what exactly are they helping you for? But they will use it to throw in your face later to try to control and manipulate you to either stay or to get more out of you and to start trying to get that upper hand. Now, we also see in the area where I said earlier, they ask for no control. They are able to let you take charge 100% of the time because it's the agenda going forward. They want to basically go along for the ride like a child would. So anyone who isn't saying, I have goals, I have opinions, I have ambitions, I don't want to do it that way. I like what you said, but can we do it this way a little bit more? When they have nothing to offer and they just seem to be Mr. Passive, there's a reason for that is definitely going to become an issue later on. Big red flag here, especially if this is a narcissist or a sociopath, not just a weak link, but a narc. What you're going to see is that this person actually breaks things, damages things, hides things, causes problems, creates issues and drama so that he can later go back and be Mr. Fix-It. Look at what I did. Look at how I help you. When actually he was manipulating it the entire time. I had this lunatic ex who would hide my jewelry, and he would hide important things like my glasses, right? And I'm super like blind in the one eye. Like I can't drive without these, especially at night. And like they would always go missing, these things, at inopportune times. Like I just desperately needed them, and then he would resurrect as my hero. Oh, I found them. And I started to catch on pretty early that he was actually doing this, and I would find different items that had been missing for like weeks or months that he would like bury in laundry or just places I know they never went. I never put them there, and they could not have possibly gotten there unless some individual went and put them there, right? So creepy things like that. Somebody who creates problems and then shows up as the hero and will use that to manipulate. Look at patterns in your life. If you are the kind of woman who always had your shit together, and all of a sudden this clown is involved in your life and you've got mishaps all over the place, is it possible he's creating those? Okay. Super common, but beyond what you would even imagine an individual would ever do. Just because you wouldn't do it doesn't mean they won't do it. Okay. And probably even take pride in it. Let's move on to number 4. Man who wants to latch on to a powerful, successful woman understands that she is busy, that she doesn't have a lot of time to give to the chase, and she may be pretty to the point about what she wants. So, research shows that a narc or a weak man will latch on to a woman like this by giving up the chase, by being available to her at all times, super early on, beyond what is normal or healthy. He is just there for her. He's there to support you emotionally, always the good morning texts, a little cup of coffee in the sunshine, always the good night text guy. I'm always leery about that guy. Like, really, you're taking the time to do this to me and how many other women, or why? Like, I don't need that. Always just making sure that you are remembering that he is there for you. Okay, there is zero chase going on here. He is at your beck and call. No, thank you. No, thank you. So essentially, red flag ladies, you didn't earn it. You didn't earn it, and he's there for you, like dedicated already. All right, not good. Readily available too often and way too soon. This is manipulation on the way. That is the red flag. Let's look at number 5, and then I am going to move on to your questions, your comments. If you didn't already post them, get them in now. Destiny, my beautiful producer, will be putting them up here, and I'll be taking them from TikTok and YouTube. So go ahead and start posting now if you haven't. All right. So number 5, they need therapy. They have basically decided their entire lives that instead of looking inward and doing the work, figuring out who they are and healing their issues, as we all have to do, that they've decided to run and feed things like Peter Pan syndrome, drug and alcohol abuse, avoidance issues, and latching on to powerful women. Maybe having too much connection to their moms, basically remaining children who refuse to do the work on themselves. So if they have not gone to therapy, ladies, I am telling you, and I have fallen into this pattern. I am guilty my own self. If you are talking to a gentleman who has trauma in his past, whether it be a neglectful upbringing, narcissistic parents, drug and alcohol abuse in the family, maybe he went through some horrible health issue or some accident in his life, poverty, racial injustice, whatever it is, okay, he's marginalized. There are a million things that can go on that cause us a lot of deep-seated trauma. And he has not been to therapy, or when you ask him about therapy, he can't really tell you how it was productive and how the things that he learned are being applied to his life right now. You've got a major red flag. You are not his therapist. And if he starts going to therapy while you're in a relationship with him, you're going to deal with all the upheaval that comes from going to therapy for the first time or going to therapy in a meaningful way. That is a long, dirty journey. That is an ugly, brutal process that needs to be done during some alone time, usually. Okay. And I always say it's typically like 5 years just to get over the basics. So do not commit to this boy. They may pretty openly talk about their trauma or their need for healing, things that have happened to them in the past. And it is, always a red flag if they're not talking about how they're using it through alchemy. So just allow for them to talk about that a little bit more. Oh, wow, you went through that? Wow, you're amazing. And what does that mean? How are you using that? How have you healed? Where's that power and wisdom going out to the world now? Oh, you just latch on to powerful women like me. Oh, I see. Okay. Soon you're not going to have any energy left. Don't let them put holes in your boat. All right. So let's move on to questions and comments here. In a second, I wanted to cover a couple different things that you could do. So this is the part 2 that I wanted to add to the video. You guys had requested, okay, well, what else can I do to protect myself? All right, well, let's look at this from a couple different angles. Here are some of the tools and tricks that I use and that I teach my clients and my students. It's important with anyone at any time, but especially in love. And if you are a powerful, successful woman, you need to be more on guard than ever you have been in your life in these upcoming years as we go through this awakening. You need to be observant. Stop allowing yourself to get distracted. They come in like circus performers, and before you know it, you're distracted with them talking in loops and talking nonsense and giving you things that you haven't earned, and it'll have you distracted from what you should be doing. When you meet someone, you are supposed to pull your energy back, communicate with them, and observe. You are supposed to read their energy because energy never lies. Their words can lie, their actions can be deceitful, but the energy never lies. And you really need to do it early on. Okay. Other than that, it's hard to catch it. Once you're in a relationship, it can be hard to read their energy clearly because it's like you're in it. It's like you can't see the bigger picture when you're in a problem. You will notice if their energy changes. I have exes who were great people at one time. They were vibrating high, but eventually they went dark. And when they went dark and their light went out and they chose not to work on themselves anymore, everyone knew it. I knew it. Spirit knew it. And I was getting pushed from spirit to get rid of them, get them out of here. And you have to be willing to do that. But if you do your work early, it will be easier should it ever come to that. So when you are dealing with someone early in the relationship, do an analysis on their energy. And should you see something in them, for example, you feel like you are supposed to work with this person. Maybe it's a soulmate. Maybe you have some kind of contract together. You're supposed to spend time with them, but you also hear a deadline and you see that potentially in the future, there could be some red flags that are going to surface there. You have to deal with it accordingly. Okay. Know that it's like time stamped. Okay. That it's going to expire and you have to be prepared to get out at that time. And you can't act like it isn't there. We can't wear rose-colored glasses. So get in, get out. We also need to, number 2, ask about people's motives more often. Again, this is for any relationship. But when people talk to you, if you are a strong, powerful woman and a guy's approaching you, how is he approaching you in regard to what his motives might be? Do you feel like you're getting hustled? Do you notice that when he says something complimentary to you, or he asks you a lot of questions, do you notice that your back is kind of up, that you feel like there's something weird about the way he's doing it? Can't put your finger on it, but it feels off-putting somehow. You need to ask deeper questions like, okay, these seem like normal questions. I am definitely feeling like he's clearly trying to flatter me or give me a compliment, which I appreciate. We're just flirting, but it doesn't feel right. I need to find the motive here. Is there something underneath this? Now, we always want to be careful that we're not out there being super paranoid. There is a huge difference between intuition and fear. So you could check out, I have a free mini class on emotion versus intuition, and fear versus love, and logic versus intuition. You need to sometimes get out of old past trauma energy if you've been taken advantage of, and make sure you're actually coming from your gut instinct. But most of the time, ladies, okay, you're right. Your gut never lies. So if it feels weird, it is weird, even if it looks flattering or normal. Ask motives all the time. What do people want? What's your game? What's your point? Why are you here? Number 3, collect data. This is something I never stop doing with anyone. And I've been put in dangerous situations from the day I was born. Abusive parents and living on the streets since I was 13, 14 years old. I have learned never to stop collecting data on people. I love you. I am trusting you. We are in relationship together, but I'm clocking you all the time. And if anything feels weird, or if spirit has warned me, or if something seems off, or I'm starting to see patterns of issues, you better believe I'm collecting that like a private investigator, and I got a whole file on it, and I'm going to allow it to piece together. And that's okay to do. It doesn't make you paranoid or weird or wrong. It allows you to protect yourself as a woman living in today's brutal world where everything is set up, rigged against us to take us down. You had better do it and never let your guard down with other women, with men, with everyone. Okay. So you are studying all the time why it is. Some of the things that you can look for in people that you're dating or you're in relationship with in even more detail here are whether or not their answers to questions change. So I will often, if I'm dating somebody and I start to notice that they're going from a high vibration to a low vibration, something like that, I will start to ask questions that I had asked in the past. And I had asked them in the past only to collect data and to see what timeline did he give me? How did he say this thing played out? What did he say his role was in it? I'll ask him again a while later. And if his answer is different, we got a problem. Okay. So ask the same questions repeatedly, taking them off guard in big gaps of time. Okay. You also want to pay attention to the way that they are interacting with others around you. So if you start to, and this is one of the most common readings I do for my clients is so and so cheating? From men, from women, is so and so cheating? Is someone going behind my back? Sometimes they're not cheating as much as they are starting a smear campaign about you. They're talking to your friends, they're talking to your clients, they're talking to your family, they're talking to people in your inner circle in a way that's really inappropriate. They're making people question your character. They're undermining you somehow. They're making a mockery of you. And it will read energetically, psychically the same as cheating. Okay. And it is. It is, but it's about to come with a whole storm of abuse. That is narcissistic behavior. They're getting their flying monkeys ready to attack you. Okay, so we got problems on the horizon there. All right, so I want to get to questions and comments here. Destiny, my adorable producer, could you start popping up the questions? And as soon as I say it, you could just get the next one up and we'll go through all of them. As many as we can get to here tonight. Again, everybody, please give this video a thumbs up, like or subscribe to the channel. Hit the join button to become a member for all kinds of monthly extras, and donations are appreciated. All right, so Deb GAZ on Instagram says they want what we have. When it's not contagious, they want to destroy us. Woo! She said a mouthful. And it's so sad to see these patterns. I'm 42 and I can't tell you how many losers I've been with who did that exact thing that she just said. They want what I have. They want who I am. I worked hard to earn it. When I won't give it to them for free, they want to take out and wipe out everything I have. It's disgusting behavior and they need to get in therapy. All right. Marissa Bennett says, when will Anthony give my money back? I feel he's keeping it for leverage. I don't know if this control or his fear of losing me with love after I get it back. His mom says he's a narcissist. What do you think? Well, I'm not doing free readings tonight. So you can book a reading with me anytime and I'll tell you whether or not you're going to get that money back. We can figure it out. However, I will answer this part about him doing this because he wants to control you and not lose you. I think that's very accurate. I also think the fact that his mother is saying such things about him can mean that his father was a narcissist, or even his mother is narcissism, or, you know, he was raised around narcissists somehow. So he learned these habits somewhere, is the feeling I'm getting with this. But I think that it is falling in line with what I said about the hero, the Mr. Fix It. What was that? Number 4, number 5, where I said he will create problems to come in and be able to be the resolution, to be the solution, to give you the healing, the freedom, the relief. And so financial abuse is a huge issue with weak and narcissistic men. And for those of you who have married in with someone like this, you're going to see it even more so if you ever think of leaving. If you think of a divorce, he's going to use the kids as financial abuse in court. Custody is financial abuse in court. He's going to try to take the house. He's going to try to take things that you probably earned yourself. And this is another reason, ladies, why we are never to give up control of our finances. Okay. I don't care if he comes in and he is, you know, your knight in shining armor. You are never to allow for yourself to be like just a housewife, or, you know, just riding off of what he has. Oh, well, he's a millionaire. Doesn't matter. You're not a millionaire. So you better be careful that you keep your financial stability, because financial abuse can be one of the worst, and it's not talked about as much as it needs to be, right? Most unspoken forms of abuse. Okay, good. Let's move on to another one. Brittany, you described my brother in so many ways. I want to cut him out of my life. Is that terrible of me to do? Well, I think that self-love is always the way to go. And I think what's terrible is allowing yourself to, you know, be abused. With family, can be harder to set boundaries because there's so many people entangled in the system. And usually when we have narcissistic siblings, they're so abusive that they're even worse than the narcissistic parents themselves. So you have to sometimes pull out of the entire, you know, unit, and go no contact because it's so entangled. It's possible that your parents are in on it, your other siblings are in on it, aunts and uncles are in on it. And if everyone's feeding the dysfunction and you're taking the brunt of the abuse in some way, you may have to exit the entire scene. I did so as a kid. I went no contact with my family, and I have zero regrets. You can rebuild if that's what it comes down to. I know that a lot of people lived in more collective, you know, structures, that we feel that that's not an option. But I think that when you are in fact being abused and it is such a toxic system, you really have very few choices there. You need to protect yourself, and they've trained you to feel that guilt. So no doubt about it. Do we have another one, or are we at time here? Okay. Destiny, do we have another one we want to pop up? Oh, we are good. All right, very good. So thank you, everybody. Don't forget that 2 weeks from now, I'm doing my next free mini class. It's going to be Tuesday, 8 p.m. Not sure what exactly the date is, but that's Fighting the Dark Part 2. So you guys have been asking for this for a few years, and Spirit just really put it upon me this week that it is time. If you have not watched Fighting the Dark Part 1, there are 2 of them up here on YouTube. Check them out in the playlist, and I will see you guys next. Next week is Wednesday, 8 p.m. TikTok and YouTube for my Ask Ivy show, where I take your personal questions. I deliver out messages from Spirit, and I started a new series. Tune in, Psychic Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, where I do psychic games, mediumistic and empathic games and challenges to strengthen your intuition. Hope to see you guys for the Psychic Mediumship course. Go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com starting April 25th. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you, Destiny.